Marcus Ealy here for Status Coup, and I'm here with Amy Villela. Some of you may remember her from the documentary Knocking Down the House. She was the candidate here in Nevada CD4. Marcus Ealy coming to you live from Iowa. It's really white here, and I'm not just talking about the snow. Marcus Ealy here for Status Coup, and I am here with one of the founders. It's an honor and a pleasure. The founders of the Sunrise Movement. It's Ealy here for Status Coup. I'm here with the esteemed Dr. Cornell West. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
The honor is mine. I salute you, my dear brother. Younger generation holding up the bloodstained banner so you can put a smile on Martin and Malcolm and Ella and Fannie Lou Hamer's face, man.
Don't forget Ida.
Ida B. Wells, Barnett too. We got Ida. You right. You right there. You right there.
I would not be a journalist if it wasn't for Ida. Marcus Ealy here for Status Coup. Currently, I'm in front of the Chevron gas station at the corner of Martin Luther King and Bonanza. And this was the site where Byron Williams was pulled over initially, stopped on a routine traffic stop. He didn't have his bicycle properly lit, so the police pulled him over, and then they eventually chased him into some apartments where he was later killed. Any comment on the donation that you took from Linda Fairstein? No comment at all in regards to taking $1,000 from the person that put the Central Park 5 behind bars for all that time?
Yeah, we have, it's my understanding that the campaign returned that donation today, and that is the right thing to do.
The Guardian reports that it hasn't been returned.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, I'm the press. I'm allowed to ask questions.
Yeah, I'm the candidate, and I directed my campaign to return that donation today, and they have done it.
All right. How do you plan to deal with the pharmaceutical industry and then profiteering off of 30,000 Americans dying from preventable causes a year?
Step one for me is my anti-corruption plan that would end lobbying as we know it, that would end the revolving door between the pharmaceutical industry and our government, that would reduce the influence of big corporate money on Washington.
Marcus Ealy here for Status Coup, and just behind me is the Mandalay Bay where the shooter, Stephen Paddock, shot over the strip to the Route 91 festival. And to about 5 miles from here, 10-minute drive, I'm going to show you for context, there's going to be a gun show today. While I was here, there was another mass shooting, of course, and it was in Odessa and Midland, Texas, West Texas area. And it's not even been a month since El Paso, which is further West Texas. So, I mean, this is what we're dealing with in America. This is our culture. This is who we are. Violent. It's a violent culture of entitled white men that like to shoot everything up. And the president that emboldens them. And when we go in here, you're going to see, while I was in there, I saw a Nazi pin right next to Trump paraphernalia, or actually in between Trump paraphernalia and assault weapons. No, it's not. Not a culture problem at all. Bruh, please. This is what we're dealing with. This is America.
Faith that do want to do damage and harm to this country, and basically anywhere that they go. It's a part of their belief system. And if you take, say, 1.3 billion, you said, and let's say that the statistics are, what I've heard, 15 to 20% of them are radical, then you've got, how many millions is that? You've got 1.3 million, 30 million people, basically, that are radical. If 20% of 1.3 billion
Where are those numbers coming from?
do your research.
You're the one making the assertion, though.
What I'm telling you is you've got your own show. Do your research. If you should really want to know, especially if you're an agnostic.
But I'm not making the assertion. That's what I'm saying. You're making the assertion. The burden of proof is not on me. The burden of proof is on you.
Well, I've done my research, and that's what.
Then, if you've done the research, then state your proof.
Sure. Gabrielle, what's her name? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I didn't. I didn't make the assertion.
If anybody uses Google and finds it, they don't take my word for it.
Why was this booklet created? The United States and other Western nations faced a heightened threat from homegrown violent extremists, heeding the call to violence from foreign terrorist organizations, including the Islamic State of Iraq and Sham, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and other groups. In an effort to mitigate future attacks, well, hold on, is something missing? Yeah. White people are missing. Like, let's just keep it 1,000. Like, that's what it is. We're not talking about, like, there's Al-Qaeda and there's ISIS. What about y'all Qaeda? What's up with them? Where are Clive and Bundy and them? I'm in Las Vegas. Clive and Bundy and them, what, an hour, 20 minutes from me? Not even? 45 minutes or something? They right up the road from my house, bruh. Just up to 15.
This week, we had the Las Vegas shooting. I personally did live videos at 2 candlelight vigils, and I did 1 live video with a survivor of the shooting. Those are both available on truthagainstthemachine.com, and also if you go to the videos tab on our Facebook page.
Run fast, stay low. And he showed me the direction where to go, and like a big group of us came out from under the stage and just ran behind. There was like trailers and like for like equipment and the performers' trailers, and so we all hid behind there as coverage. And then that is when we found a group of people that had used a semi-truck loading dock ramp, and they propped it up against the fence. And so we used that ramp to get over. Like it was like a 20-foot fence. And so we climbed up that ramp, and there were men on the other side catching us as we jumped off.
He says, no way, I'm not leaving office. This is a fake Russiagate hoax, and I'm not leaving office. Let's start a civil war. What would you do in that case?
Okay. To me, the reality is Trump's never going to get impeached. That's all a distraction that they're creating to take the eyes off of Biden. That's not what we're talking about. I get that. So I don't see Trump as being impeached, period. But worst case scenario, I'm pretty sure I would be one of the ones. I got health issues, so I'd be more detriment in the front lines, but I'd be one of the ones that back at 110%.
The president has recently tweeted about there being a civil war-like fracture if he gets impeached. What do you, as a Trump supporter, think about that?
I think the Democrats that are raising all the scandals should be tried for treason and hung from the Capitol dome. Pure, flat out, and simple. So if they want to play games, okay, they have violated their oath of office in supporting the president. They need to be hung for treason.
So their oath of office includes supporting the president in all things, every time.
Yes.
There can come a time, because this country is fractured. I mean, it's very fractured, that there's going to be brother fight against brother. There can be. I don't see that. That's unimaginable.
And see, that's where the neoliberals don't want to make that move. They want to just talk about race. Understandably, we love black people too. But the focus ought to be on the black people who are catching the most hell. We love all black people. But when it comes to black poor people, black working people,
it very much, it reminds me of like some of the hollowness of some of these movements to get certain black people in power. And it's like, we need to support our black women who get in power. Yes, I'm with you. Let's support them. But what about the black women that work at McDonald's that's catching all type of hell from these managers that are sexually harassing them, from these wages that they're dealing with, from all of these various systems of oppression, and let alone the black trans women that they out here killing every day, and then we don't even talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, we don't.
Precious trans folk. Probably the most vulnerable among all of us. Among all of us is our precious trans folk. But I think part of the issue is, how do we talk about vicious legacies of white supremacy grounded in the history of capitalism going back to chattel slavery, going back to neo-slavery, which is what Jim Crow was, and forms of neo-slavery still operating in our mass incarceration regime, you see. And then recognize how central patriarchy has been, so you end up with black leadership that is disproportionately male, and therefore overlooking not just the precious black women, but the vast majority of black women who themselves are poor and working class. So if you really focus on the plight of black women, you're going to raise some class issues.
You
Because
can't
my
help it.